So what's going on guys, Kids here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the best frost staff build in Albion online. So I will show you what abilities and armor you want to get. Then I will explain every single skill and what is the best skill rotation that you want to use for both PvP and PvE. And then lastly I will show you the best gameplay so you would be able to get the best results and highest damage possible and much more. So no matter how much silver you have or how high or low your weapon levels are, you can easily use this build and follow the step-by-step guide. So if this sounds interesting to you, then let's get right into it. So then moving over to the quick build overview, and for the weapon we are going to use the Frost Staff. I personally have been playing this weapon for years now, and it is my most favorite one, because of its playstyle, the ability to be a real mage with very good mobility, and because of course we will be doing huge amount of damage. And then as well, like all of my builds, this setup is amazing for both PvP and PvE. And then finally you can use the setup starting with tier 4 equipment and pretty low levels in the Destiny board. So no matter what type of player you are, this build is definitely for you. So then moving over to the build, and for the weapon we are going to go with the Frost Staff. So for your Q you pick the second option, then for your W you pick the third option. And then lastly for your passive you go with the Aggressive Caster, which is the third option. And then for the offhand we pick the Tome of Spells. Then for the helmet we want to get the Royal Cowl, and pick the third ability and second passive. Then for chest armor go with the Scholar's Robe, and pick the third ability and first passive. Then for boots go with the Soldier Boots and choose the second ability and second passive. Then for your cape you pick the Morgana Cape, and then lastly for your consumables you want to go with the Healing Potions and Pork Omelet. Usually this would be the part where I would explain the best alternatives. So for example, like which skills you would want to change, depending on what type of content you are doing. But one of my most favorite thing about this build is that you don't have to change a single thing, no matter what you want to do. Our Frost build's main core gameplay loop is to keep using as many Q spells as possible, and that's why most of our build is made around having infinite amount of energy, which will increase our casting speed. So if you're looking for a powerful build that works 100% the same, no matter who or how many people you're fighting, then this is the one for you. Okay, so now let's go over to the gameplay, where I will show you the best way to play this build. So for the first Q spell we have the Ice Shard, which will drop the shards on the ground and explode in 3-meter range. As I said, this is our main ability that we will want to spam 24/7. So then for the next one we have the W skill, which is the Frost Nova. This ability is a very advanced teleport that will teleport us to any direction we are aiming our character. Then it will give us 0.2 second immunity to damage and stun and deal damage to the enemies if they were standing close to us before we teleported. This teleport might seem very simple, but if you use it right, we can utilize it in 3 different ways. So the first one is to stun and deal damage, then to escape or catch enemies, or even to use as a defensive skill, because we get that 0.2 second immunity. So if you are ever fighting in PvP, and let's say that for example we are fighting against a one-handed cursed player, and then he puts the death curse on us, and it's about to explode, then if we time the teleport correctly, then we will take 0 damage, which is very OP. Then of course for the E skill we have the Freezing Wind, and this skill will blow a freezing wind, which will stun and slow enemies for 4.4 seconds, and deal magic damage. But most importantly, this E skill will activate our cape, so we will get that 50% cast time boost for 8 seconds, which is very important for our spam Q build. Then our next ability is the Speed Caster, which will give us the same cast speed buff like the Morgana Cape, but on top of the cast time reduction, all of our skills will cost 70% less energy for 8 seconds. And when we spam our Qs multiple times, this 70% reduction is a huge deal. Then our D skill is called the Perpetual Energy, which again is meant for Q spamming. So when we activate it, all of our skills will cost 0 energy for the next 15 seconds. And then lastly we have the F ability. This is just a simple run skill, which will increase our speed by 80% and give us health regen for 5 seconds. I personally really like the Soldier Boots, but for any build the shoes can be changed, so you can go with mine or whichever you like the most. And then of course we have the consumables. The healing potions will regain our HP after few seconds, and as we basically have 0 defensive skills, so it's important to get some type of defense buff from the potions. And then lastly, we will use the omelet because of the cooldown reduction and cast speed reduction. And then finally, we have few cabbage soups in our inventory as well. This is an old school trick, but if you ever get in trouble, or if you are fighting in corrupted dungeons or open world, and you're low health, then you can equip the soups and use them, and this will regain your health back to full in 3 to 4 seconds, because of the 270% health regen buff. But don't forget that in Albion consumables don't stack, so if you don't want to lose your buff from the omelet, then only use soups very rarely. So with all of this said, now let's move over to the rotation, and PvE and PvP literally work the same. So then at the beginning of the fight you want to activate your D skill, then right away use your E ability, and then keep spamming the Q skill until you run out of the speed casting buff. So then when you feel like you slow down, which will happen after around 8 seconds, then again right away this time you want to activate your R skill, and then keep spamming your Q skill until you again run out of speed. And then finally from here, you can keep using your W and F skills for extra damage, or to run away or catch the enemies. Like I previously said, the W skill has many uses, and you can even teleport into the enemy to cancel his spell casting, or use healing potion while running away from the enemy, so then at any moment, when your buffs come up again, then you can burst the enemy down. So now let's see what we did in this rotation. But first, while activating the D skill, we will get a buff that for the next 15 seconds, all of our skills will cost 0 energy. So then we can use our E skill, which will give us a casting speed for 8 seconds because of the cape. So then we can spam our Qs for insane damage. Then when we slow down, this time we will activate the R skill, and this will again give us a cast speed. So then again we can spam our Qs and get huge damage. And as both cast speed buffs last for about 7 to 8 seconds, so if we time them right, then we can use both cast speeds in those 15 seconds and spend 0 energy whatsoever. And then from here, depending on the fight, we can run, catch or outplay the enemy with the rest of our skills. As the Frost player, we don't have a lot of defensives because most of our skills are meant to support our Qs, so we could spam them and do big damage. So for PvE, this works amazing. But then for PvP, you have to be a bit more careful and just burst down the enemy before he has even a chance to attack you, or build up his stacks. As I said, I played this build and weapon for many years now, and it is still very fun and one of the best builds that works very well for every single content. So what are you waiting for? Try this build out and have fun. So with that said, I really do appreciate everyone for watching guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback or other good Albion online builds that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and you would not miss any more amazing content. With all this said, you have an amazing day and I will see you in my next video, so take it easy, peace.